The Pittsburgh Steelers are taking on the Green Bay Packers this week, and there are so many things that can happen in this game, but it is kind of cool to see Aaron Rodgers face his former team in Pittsburgh, them coming to Pittsburgh. It's just super cool. I think it's nice when you see like two historic franchises kind of come together and play football, and so that's what we get to see this week. I don't know what to expect from the Steelers team because obviously I watched them play on Thursday night. I don't know what they're going to do this week, and I don't know how they're going to look. I also have been watching the Packers pretty closely because I've known that this Sunday night game was coming, and the Packers are similar to the Steelers. I think the Steelers and the Packers are very similar in the way that we win games. I think if you look at the statistics after games are over, for both of us, we always win games, but we hardly ever win in the statistical measurements of the games. And I always think that that is super interesting. On the one end, you have the Packers who just, everybody talks about them as being this great team, this great offense, this and that. They got Parsons. When they got Parsons, it was like, that's taking them to the next level. They're going to do the next thing. And sometimes when I'm watching the Packers, I'm not sure what I'm going to get from the Packers. I'm just not sure. I mean, I've watched them play the Cowboys and I was like, okay, they're scoring a lot of points, but my goodness, they can't stop anybody. But who can stop that Cowboys offense? So there's that aspect. But then I watched them play the Browns, and that was a Joe Flacco led Browns, and they just couldn't get out of their own way in that one. And so I don't really know what to think about the Packers. I think the Packers are very similar to the Steelers in the way that we do things, in the sense that we want to run the ball. We want to make smart decisions. We don't want to turn the ball over. We want to be good in the red zone, and we just want to make things work. Mike Tomlin off of a loss is 14-6, and I just don't know what to expect from this game. I don't know what Steelers defense is going to show up. Is it going to be the Steelers defense that I'm afraid is going to show up? Is it going to be a new Steelers defense, or a Steelers defense that's going to be consistent? It feels like every game we're up and we're down and we're up and we're down. So since we've been down against the Bengals, this should be a game that we're up. I don't know if that's how we're playing it. I don't know what the hell to expect from the Steelers defense, and that is an issue for me because that is not supposed to be the side of the ball that I'm worried about, but I am extremely worried about the Steelers defense. I don't know what they're going to do, but I do know if they're able to show up and they're able to do what they're supposed to do, this game should be won by the Steelers. But I don't know what this defensive line is going to do. I don't know if they're going to be able to stop the run. I don't know if this defensive front is going to act like they're in the game. I don't know if the Steelers defensive line is going to have Jordan Love looking as amazing as Joe Flacco looked on Thursday Night Football. But I do know one thing, with all due respect to the Packers wide receiving core, because they have Golden over there, but also just to respect to them, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins are special kind of receivers. And so I don't think that is who we're going into playing. But one thing I know for sure, if this defensive line doesn't show up against the Packers, I trust that Jordan Love knows what to do with the football. But I'll just get off the Steelers. Let me talk a little bit about what I know about the Packers.
Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to add a comment in the comment section below. And don't forget to check and make sure that you are subscribed to my channel.
Looking and researching this Packers team was all kinds of complicated. So far, Jordan Love has 2 interceptions, which I find very fascinating based on the teams that they have played, but maybe I shouldn't, but I do find that fascinating. So they only have 2 turnovers. On the other side of this, though, they are highly penalized. I didn't realize how many penalties this Green Bay team had, and so I think that's great. I think anytime you're going on the road, you're playing in Pittsburgh, and you're heavily penalized team, I hope that the refs remember that they're a heavy penalized team. So that is something that I'm thinking about. But where it gets tricky is when I look at this team on offense and when I look at this team on defense, statistically, they are better than the Steelers at every turn. They're better than them at offense. They're better than them at defense. They're better than them in all the different measurables. This is where it gets interesting for me because stats are an interesting thing and they really only tell one side of the story. But when you look at this Packers team, they are very good at third down conversion rates. They stay on the field on third down. Their offense is rated higher than the Steelers. They do everything better than the Steelers. I think we're slightly better than them in the red zone, but overall, they do everything better than the Steelers statistically. And very specifically on third down. They're able to stay on the field on third down. And what it just means to be good statistically on third downs means that you're sustaining drives and you're staying on the football field, which means the defense has work to do, and it means you're keeping drives alive. So, okay, cool. I understand that. But then when I flip it, where we are better than them defensively, because as a whole defensively, their ranking is higher than us. However, where we are better than them statistically, stats and turnovers. And so when you're looking at games and you're trying to figure out what is going on, this is like a hodgepodge of interestingness, because I think the way the Steelers win games sometimes is always weird. It's always big momentum swings. What do I mean by that? Momentum swing in football, sacks, momentum swing in football, turnovers. The Steelers do well in that. The other thing is, though, the Packers sustain drives and keeps you on the field long. So this is going to be a very interesting matchup to kind of see what happens and to see what it looks like when it's all said and done. Because I think when you look at stats really only tell one story. Because if I look at stats as a whole, the Packers are technically statistically better than us. But then if you kind of dig into some of these games and kind of see what's happening in these games and penalties and the things that are happening with the Packers, that is where it kind of gets interesting. And so I don't really know what Packers team is going to show up and what it's going to look like, but this is definitely something that I'm paying attention to, because it's kind of interesting how all these stats and numbers and different things are playing out. Having said that, the three things I think are going to be super important to winning this game is going to be the Steelers' ability to get turnovers. If they're able to get turnovers, I think that's going to be very, very, very important. So the Steelers' abilities to get turnovers. I think the second thing is going to be our defensive line having to get pressure on Jordan Love. I think if we speed up his clock a little bit, I think that's going to help us. I know every quarterback, that is a way to beat the quarterbacks. But I think if we really knock him off of his rhythm, I think that's going to help us. And then the third thing is going to be our ability to stop the run. I think I like our ability to stop the run and make Jordan Love a pocket passer, because I'm going to trust this defense. Maybe I should not trust this defense, but I'm going to trust this defense to stop the run. I'm going to trust this defensive line to do their jobs, and I'm going to trust in our ability to create turnovers. It's so funny to me that in 2025, some of the things that I'm saying are the keys to victory are all the things that are happening on defense. And for our offense, I'm kind of like, hey guys, just do the right things, okay? And that's because they have shown me that they can. This defense hasn't shown me that they can consistently. So that is a problem. However, I have a surprise for you here in a second when I get into my X Factor. My underrated X Factor is going to be the Steelers' ability to keep Aaron Rodgers clean. If Aaron Rodgers has a clean pocket and he is able to do the things he needs to do, I like our chances in this game. Is it going to happen all the time? No. He might have to take some sacks. He might have to throw some balls in the dirt. He might have to maneuver around a couple of things. But if overall at the end of this game, this offensive line has held pretty consistently, I like our chances in this game. Again, I'm assuming that this defense is able to step up and do what they're supposed to do. So the one thing I think is going to be a very important X factor is going to basically be the line of scrimmage. Can the Steelers protect Aaron Rodgers, and can the Steelers defensive line make things complicated for Jordan Love? Those are going to be the things I'm going to be wondering about, because I think the game kind of lends itself to that. Obviously, the other factors are going to matter, but I think the game really lends itself to that line of scrimmage to see what happens. And if that line of scrimmage is equal, then all the other things that I talked about are going to matter for this game. I really hope the Steelers team is ready to rally around Aaron Rodgers. I really hope that they are ready to play for him. This is a big game for them to kind of come together, rally around him, win this game for him, make this about Aaron Rodgers. When you don't want to go any harder, when you want to quit, when you don't want to make the extra play, when it starts to get hard, when it's in the fourth quarter, all of the things, I need the Steelers team this week to play for Aaron Rodgers, because I want Aaron Rodgers to get this win. He's at home, and I think it would just be a great win for him to have on Sunday night. He gets to talk to the broadcast. I want to see him happy. I want to see him celebrate. And Aaron Rodgers has been the backbone of this Steelers team, and I just want him to get this win. I just want him to get this win. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let me know if there's anything that I missed that you're thinking about, and I'll see you in my next video.